Welcome to the Pete and Joe Fitness Show.
Hello.
We're at the Level Skate Park in Brighton today, and Pete and I have been chatting about young people and exercise and how much exercise young people get typically.
Or don't. And that was what we were talking about, wasn't it? Because I did loads at school. What about you?
I remember doing PE a fair bit at school, and also just getting out quite a bit on the skateboard,
You
on my
loved
bike.
this place, didn't you? Well, you'd like to do this now.
I wish this had been built when I was young. Yeah, we had the other skate park, which was just over there, which was rough and ready. But this is just a fantastic facility. Yeah, and I wish my ankles had held up a little bit longer and I could still do it.
Yeah, and we were just thinking about, you know, the lack of exercise that a lot of kids have now, and I think ultimately we were kind of just thinking along the lines of a campaign that we're looking to kind of launch sort of later in the year, which is to basically get kids more active in the UK. You know, there is a big issue. I think we're going to talk more about sort of state schools, because like private schools, boarding schools, you know, those schools do like 10, 15 hours a week of exercise. Obviously because their day's longer. You know, they start their day about 8 AM, finish about 6. And I think this is the biggest issue, I think, with a lot of state schools. The day is so short. I mean, it's like 9 till 3:30.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is short in comparison. My children, they do PE every week, but it's only, I think, one session a week.
I think that's the government minimum, is 2 hours a week. I think
Yeah.
the government minimum.
They do about 2 hours a week, and we'd really like to see a bit more physical activity in school.
And on the curriculum. I mean, obviously there are after-school clubs, but having, you know, I train, you know, quite a few mothers, and those after-school clubs, they cost, you know, per term, and lots of kids want to do more than one.
Yeah, they are expensive.
Yeah, and they tend to be frequented by the same kids. So I think an idea to try to increase kids' daily activity is to try to get more exercise actually on the curriculum. And I think the only way to try and do that is by increasing the day. And I've spoken to quite a lot of mothers, and they're quite happy with the kids to stay at school till about 5 o'clock, because 3:30 is the middle of the afternoon. So I think it's more about promoting activity. You know, one of the things kids do and do very well is run about and do stuff given the opportunity. So it's more about promoting the activity and how well you feel when you're fit. I mean, I think the aesthetics of being, you know, who cares really if you're like a stone overweight? It doesn't really matter too much if you're fit with it. And I think it's more about promoting activity and trying to put activity into state school curriculum on a daily basis, whether it's 20 minutes every day. You know, it could be diversity. We need diversity as well. Not the dance group, although that would be cool every day. But we need diversity in terms of activity. I mean, we don't want to see football, rugby, cricket. Could be street dance, could be CrossFit, martial arts, boxing. It doesn't have to be exercise in the sort of grand scheme of the word. Like go and do cricket or something. It could be just like, you know, build a pile of boxes over there and take a big pile of boxes over there. You know, it's physically using. I don't know. That sounds really boring.
Really weird.
what a great activity.
I think that's called slave labour.
But you know what I mean? It's like, you know, give them a project. You know, give them a project. They're doing, they're active, and they could have been busy for an hour without actually realising it. They probably burnt off 300 or 400 calories. And it's not necessarily competition style, because obviously there are overweight kids now, but they don't necessarily want to be playing football, cricket. You know, they want to be involved in another way. So use their brains a little bit. Maybe trying to get kids to work more as teams, so no one's excluded. There's a lot of work to do, but I think a campaign to increase the state school day, and to be honest, I have read a report lately that the government has actually looked to increase the state school day, but I think it's actually more to alleviate the working adult rather than, and to improve league tables rather than to actually, you know, they're not talking about adding exercise in. So I think I'd like to jump onto that bandwagon, or we should jump onto that bandwagon and go, okay, well, if you're talking about increasing the state school day, let's try to encapsulate half an hour per day of exercise. You know, or let's campaign for that to happen. Well, whether we start locally, you know, southeast, start with a trial of a bunch of schools, see how it works, whether the exercise is done at the beginning of the day, and, you know, Finland, for example, I know it's a random thing to say, but Finland have really sorted out their kids' obesity. They had a major issue, and the government really dug deep with their pockets and gave their kids 3 square meals a day, breakfast, lunch and an afternoon meal. They put exercise on the curriculum, no after school clubs. Truancy dropped, school grades went up, and obviously obesity issues were not cured, but they certainly improved. So I think if we could follow a country like Finland, which you don't necessarily think of as having a massive kids obesity problem, but we do. We have a massive obesity problem, and I don't really see an answer at the moment. No one seems to be talking about it, you know.
Well, it's interesting that the Scandinavian countries are so often the leaders, aren't they, in
Furniture.
in education, flat pack furniture, but in ideas around education and just in starting
a bit more
education
creative,
later.
aren't
The World Health Organization has said that nearly 20% of 10 to 11-year-olds in this country are obese.
Wow.
And just over 9% of 4 to 5-year-olds are obese.
Pete and Joe looking to evolve a campaign to get state schools to increase their day, but that day to be including exercise and a diverse range of exercise. And I think it's a campaign that we want everyone to be behind, and we're going to start. We've been actually planning it for a while, so we thought this was a good opportunity to actually start talking about it at the local skate park where kids are doing lots of stuff,
and also get feedback, get our viewers feedback on their experience.
Do you agree? Do you agree? Do you think it's something that is a good idea? Do you not agree with it? Do you think that's something that is possibly doable? Pete and Joe's fitness campaign.
It's starting.
You heard it here first. Until next time. Bye bye.
Bye.